Welcome to a new video in my home automation series, and today in this Sonoff Basics episode I want to go around the topic of how you can use a door or a window sensor such as the ones that you can see here in order to set up smart home applications. And I collected the top 5 automations ideas that I think are useful and can be done with with these devices and in the eWeLink application. But I'm not saying these are the best ones, so I'm really interested in your take as well, how you would use these sensors. What are your top ideas to make your life easier in a smart home? I think I will be able to show you all the examples that I'm planning to cover in this video, but there are going to be a few ones which I won't be able to do because it would require a specific setup to be created, which I don't have at home, but I'm going to talk through those processes as well. And in order to show you these automations, I'm going to use this very simple setup that I created here on my desk. Here we have a Sonoff Dual, and we are only going to use this to operate these lights. I mean, one of these lights, so that's going to indicate the light in your room, or the light in your porch or whatever. And for the sensors, I'm going to use 2 sensors. So this is the SNZB04. So that's the window and the door sensor, which is available now for some time. This was the first and the only sensor which is available at the moment. And this is the SNZB04P, which is the new enhanced version of the door and the window sensor. So both of them operate on Zigbee. And I only made a review video about just a couple of days ago, and I was only told yesterday that unfortunately the release of this product is going to get delayed into 2024. But I'm still going to include this in the video because I think sooner or later this is going to come out, and definitely this would probably going to be a more popular device because of the additional features that it has. And as I said, both of these units are Zigbee units, and actually I'm using the NS Panel Pro, which you can see here, in order to control them, and I'm using this as my Zigbee gateway. But that's not really going to be relevant for this video because we are going to do everything in the eWeLink application anyway. So let's go to our first scenario, which is probably the easiest one and the most straightforward one, is that if you have a small room, let's say a pantry or maybe like a toilet or like a washroom, then when you open the door, when you walk into that room, you want the lights to come on. And let's assume that this is a really small room, so when you close the door, you want the lights to automatically go off. So for this one, I have the eWeLink application here, and I'm going to create a new automation. So for this, we need 2 scenes to be created. One scene is going to trigger when the door is opened to turn the lights on, and the other is going to trigger when the door closes, so it turns the lights off. So here on the scene screen, I'm going to click on plus, and in the triggers, I'm going to add smart device, and let's use this sensor. So SNZB04, and when it's open, and save, and then I'm going to again control a device, so smart device, and I just have to find my dual, and this is not in alphabetical order, so you just have to bear with me for a second here. And let's say I'm going to operate the left or the right light, but actually it is wired the wrong way around. So let's going to do right, and I'm going to turn it on. And I save it, and I'm going to give it a name. So, oops, light on, and then save. And then I'm going to create the second one right away. So again, smart device and SNZB04, and when it is closed, then on the trigger, smart device again, and I'm going to go down to dual, and did we say the right? I think we did. And I'm going to turn it off. And I'm going to give it a name, light off. So I have the 2 scenes created. Actually, if I switch here to auto, you can see the light on, light off. So now if let's move this out of the way. So if I break this one, So it senses that the door or the window is open, then it's going to turn the light on, and this light on is going to be, well, the light is going to be on until I do something with this sensor and until I actually close the door again. So as I said, it is really good for, you know, cases where it's like a small room, so you walk in, the light should come on, and when you leave, then it should go off. And let's say it's in your middle of your home, so it doesn't have any windows, so you want this scene to be operated 24/7. But actually, if you notice that when you go back to the scene, you can create an effective period here. So actually you can customize it so that it only works from, let's say, nighttime, so from sunset to sunrise. Or you can just set an arbitrary time as well, let's say from 6 p.m. all the way to midnight. So let's assume that this room has some, you know, natural light to it, so you don't want these lights to automatically come on during the daytime, then you can use this effective period to restrict it. And of course you would do the same for the other scene as well. So that's it. It's very easy to set up. It only took us a couple of minutes to go through these steps. And of course, if you have multiple rooms, multiple lights, multiple door sensors, you have to do this for each of them individually. So it's going to be 2 scenes for every, you know, such room or every such door and window sensor. The second scenario is going to be very similar, but here what we want to do is, instead of you know, waiting for the door closing even to turn off the light, what we want to do is just you know, wait for some time and then turn off the light. So this could be again useful in scenarios where you don't necessarily, you know, close the close the door every time, or you close the door behind you and you just want this light to be on for a certain amount of time. Or for example, I can think about using this scene for porch lights. So when you know, leave your house and you open your main door, you want some of the exterior lights to come on, so you know, the front of the house or your porch is lit, and then, you know, as you move away after 5 minutes, the light should turn off automatically. So for this, let's just use the other sensor. So I'm going to create a new automation just like before, and here for the trigger I'm going to do smart device, and I'm going to pick the new sensor, which is the 04P. And as you can see, it has some additional features. So the previous one only had open or closed. Here we also have things like closed for a duration or open for a duration. We're not going to use this at the moment, but probably you can think about some certain scenarios where you want to use this instead of the simple open and the close event. So when the door opens, I want the some device to be changed. So I select smart device, and I'm going to use my dual again. And I'm going to operate the left one, so I'm going to turn it on. And then I can add additional actions to this one. So what I can do is, I can do not a smart device, but for example, I can do a delay. And let me just pick a very small delay, so we don't have to wait for long. And then after the delay, I'm going to operate the device again. So dual, and then the left is going to turn off. Save. So as you can see, when the door opens, then we are going to turn the light on, we wait for 5 seconds, and then we are going to turn the light off. And we are not even going to bother with, you know, when the door closes, because at this point we only care about the event when the door gets opened. So I'm going to save this, and I can rename it as porch light. And now it's added. So if I open this window, so this door, then the light comes on, and after 5 seconds, the light goes off. And of course, if I close the door either at this point or, you know, when the light is open, it's not really going to make any difference. So I think this is a good automation for example, this porch scenario that I just mentioned. Probably the only thing, or the only caveat here, is that this is a good option when you leave your house and you want these extra lights to be on, but when you're approaching the house, nothing is going to happen because you haven't opened the door yet. So probably you would want to combine it with the motion sensor as well, because still, when you open the door and you go in, the light is going to come on, but that's already too late because you're already in your house. But this is what you can do with the door and the window sensor. The next example is a type of security example where let's assume we want to get a notification if we left our windows open or any of our windows open. So maybe you want to, just check, make sure that you haven't left the some particular window, maybe a door which is outside in a shed or a chicken coop or something open, before it gets too dark. And I was thinking about a couple of different ways how we can do this, but not all of them work. So actually I'm going to show you one which actually works, and that's when we combine it with a time filter. So let's say it's something related to darkness. So at 6 o'clock, you want to make sure that all your windows and doors are closed. So we can create an automation that is going to tell you if you have left anything open. So if I just create a very simple automation, which let's go back to this device example. So SNZB04, if it's open, then we can send ourselves a notification. Close the window. And then we save it. So that's going to be our window check automation or window check scene. So obviously now, if we open it, we will get a notification that close the window. Okay, that's what we wanted. But obviously we don't want to get a notification every time we open the window. So now we can edit this and we can add a time to it. So let's say we want this check to be executed at 8 o'clock. 6 o'clock, sorry, that's 6 o'clock. And we are going to change this so when it's all conditions are met. Actually, I'm not going to set to 6 o'clock. I'm going to set it to 15:25. Well, probably let's do it 26 because I'm not sure if my time and the server time is in 6. So 15:26, which is going to be in a minute. So if I save this one now, and now if I open the window, nothing really happens because, well, even though the window is open, the other condition, which is the time condition, is not met. So now we just have to wait until this time comes, and that's only when we are going to select receive the notification. And now the time has arrived, and then we receive the notification that we need to close the window. So this functionality is working now. And unfortunately, I was trying a couple of other ways how I could do this, so I don't have to, set a specific time to it, so I can just execute it all the time. But unfortunately, those scenarios don't really work. So the only other thing I can think about, if you, let's say, use a Sonoff device, let's say a lamp or just a switch, just like this one, and then you set this as a condition. So this should only run if the window sensor is open and if this light is turned on. So actually you are going to use a sacrificial device, which you are going to use it in the conditions, but that means that every time you turn this light on, which doesn't have to be a physical light, you just need a switch, or you just even need this device to be on your eWeLink. So you click it. Let's say that eWeLink device can be called checking windows. So when you turn it on, then all of a sudden these conditions in the scene are going to be met and you will receive the notification. So that's my second best option how you could do this. But if you want something time sensitive, I think this is a very simple setup and it's just going to work. And obviously for every single window sensor or window that you want to check, you have to create this scene for each of them separately. The next example I'm going to talk about is the ones which I will not be able to showcase you completely, because based on the setup you have, whether you have like a single heater or an HVAC system or something else, the implementation is going to be different. But what we want to do is we want to save some energy. So let's say when you open the window, it should automatically turn off your heating. And we can do it in a couple of different ways, but it's really going to be very similar to how we control the lights when we open or close the window or the door. So this case, what we want to do is when the window is open, then we want to turn something off. So let's say you are going to use the dual or any Sonoff device to control like a radiator, electric radiator. So obviously when this opens, then that relay should turn off, and then when you close it, then it should turn back on. But also you can use the same if you have an HVAC system, because what normally happens is that in an HVAC system you have a thermostat, and that thermostat is going to send a signal to your central HVAC or a boiler to either turn on or turn off based on whether it's cold in the room or whether it's hot in the room. So what you can do is you can use one dedicated device, which is the Sonoff CH4 Pro, and then basically wire that in series with the thermostat. And what that can do is that normally the thermostat is going to control whether the HVAC turns on and off, but you can use the window sensor with a scene and the CH Pro to actually break this connection. So even though the thermostat is saying that, oh, we need to turn on the heating because it's cold in the room, well, because the window is open, that signal is never going to reach the boiler. So I think that's the second best example that I can give you. And the setup is going to be very simple. Again, it's almost going to be the same as for the first scenario. It's just that the logic is going to be reversed. So let's say if we have a smart device and this one, and when the window is open, then we want on the smart device, and actually I have a CH Pro, 4CH Pro here, and let's assume that we are going to use the channel 1 to break this connection. So the channel 1 is going to be wired in series with the thermostat. And the reason I'm specifically saying the 4CH Pro, because the 4CH Pro is the only model in the Sonoff lineup where the outputs are not connected to the mains. So most of the HVAC system, they usually just create a simple connection between two terminals. But all the other Sonoff units, like even the Dual or a Sonoff Basic, they switch line voltage, and obviously you don't want the line voltage to go into your HVAC system. But even if you have like a mini split air conditioning system, most of those have some external connections that can be directly wired to a window sensor. And you can use those connections, for example, with the 4CH Pro to achieve the same result. So if the window is open, we actually want to turn the CH Pro off, so it actually breaks the connection between the HVAC, the boiler, and the thermostat. And so that's going to be disable heating. Typo. And then you create a second one. So triggers, smart device, 4CH Pro, SNZB04, and when the window is closed now, then on the smart device and 4CH Pro, now we can turn on the channel 1 so the thermostat can take over. And then that will be enable heating. Okay, so very simple rules, but quite effective. I can, move this around, but the 4CH Pro is not around, so we aren't going to really see anything happening. But as I said, it's pretty much the same principle what we used in the first example. And finally, for the last example, I want to come back to the new version of the window and door sensor, this SNZB04P. And again, as I said, I'm pretty sure that this device will get released one way or the other. Maybe it's going to be slightly different in how it looks like, because they have added one additional sensor on the back. You can see this small black, basically dot, and this is previously I said that this is a Tamper sensor, but it's not really a Tamper sensor. But I think what is mainly designed for is to detect if for any reason the sensor falls off or removed from the door or the window. Maybe that could be the lack of the adhesive was not strong enough, or maybe somebody removed it or it got knocked off for one reason or the other. And actually they have created a scene for that, a trigger for that. So I can create a new scene and then add the new device, smart device. And now for this one I have to pick the SNZB04P. And as you can see, it has this additional action here which says removed. And so that's when it detects that basically button is no longer pushed, because when you fix it on the door or a window with the 3M tape which is on the back side, you essentially is going to push that button, and then if it gets released or removed, then obviously that button is going to be released, so it will trigger this event. So I think what we can do initially is just to send us a notification. Sensor removed, please check. Good. Save. I'm just going to give it a simple name. Okay, actually the weight of this sensor is not going to push this button, so I'm going to just push it down. So, well, nothing really happens now, and I think when I let it go, like this, yes, we get the message. Oh, I did typo this one as well. So sensor removed, please check. Well, I did a typo twice. Oh, wonderful. So it works. It's a very simple automation, but I think if we have this new feature here, a new physical feature, we should really be setting up some sort of automation for it, so we actually get use of that additional feature that we paid for. Okay, so these are the 5 examples I could think about when it comes to a Sonoff door or window sensor in the eWeLink application. As I said, if you have any better ideas, please let me know in the comment section, and maybe we can revisit this topic with some brand new ideas. But I think that will be all for today. Thanks for watching, and hopefully see you in the next video.